Good morning, my name is Gretchen Hall. It is a Tuesday, the 8th day of April, bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. Let's get to the stories that matter today. On Monday, a Chinese Coast Guard vessel repeatedly tried to ram the Philippine Coast Guard's BRP Cabra. However, the BRP Cabra's superior maneuverability enabled it to avoid collisions despite aggressive actions. Cabinet officials will attend the Senate hearing on Duterte's arrest on Thursday. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro confirms Malacanang approved Senate President Chis Escudero's request. And another local candidate was given a show cause order over a controversial remark during the campaign. The target this time, former Governor and Representative Vilma Santos. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda. An explosive eruption occurred at Kanlaon volcano, that's according to PHIVOLCS. The eruption began at 5:51 a.m. today, April 8, producing a 4,000-meter tall plume drifting southwest. With alert level 3 in effect, authorities are urging residents to stay vigilant and follow evacuation orders if necessary. Let's get more details on our top story for today. Let's talk to PHIVOLCS Volcano Monitoring Chief Mariton Bornas. Welcome to Morning Matters.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay. Mariton, give us a situation, the latest over there at Negros Island.
Okay, so we had a minor explosive eruption that began at 5:51 in the morning, and this lasted for 56 minutes. Based on our visual and seismic monitoring, the eruption produced a short, around 2 to 3 kilometer long pyroclastic density current that descended the southern slopes, going to the municipality of La Castellana. And there were also large fragments that were thrown out of the ground, landed within a kilometer of the summit tent. And right now, as communities west of the volcano are still experiencing ashfall, we will be sending a team to assess the extent of the ashfall so that we can also estimate the volume of this eruption. So the eruption ended at around 6:47 a.m. and we are still at alert level 3. This kind of minor explosive eruptions are to be expected at this alert level of the volcano.
Okay, so this is considered still a minor eruption. What does alert level 3 mean exactly?
So at alert level 3, we already have magmatic unrest, which means that the magma is close to the vent or even at the vent. We may have lava flow or lava dome formation at the summit of the volcano, and we can expect minor explosive eruptions.
Pagdating naman po dun sa mga residente, no, nakapaligid po dyan sa Kanlaon, how big or how far is the radius for evacuation supposed to be at this point?
So since December 9, when we raised the alert level to 3, naka-evacuate na po ang 6-kilometer radius from the summit of the volcano. So this includes the 4-kilometer permanent danger zone, which should be right now clearly wala na po talaga dapat na tao. No? And then another additional 2 kilometers from the vent. No? So ang critical lang po dito, there is a window hour that is being implemented by the LGU for Kanlaon. This begins at, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning. Thankfully, very early yung eruption, so we expect na wala pong tao talaga sa loob ng 6-kilometer radius.
Ang nakwento po sa akin dito sa paligid ng Kanlaon, dyan po yung bagsakan ng mga hayop. So wala naman po nakatira doon, kasi nga nakapag-evacuate na rin at mula pa nung nakaraang taon ay meron ng mga eruption. Tama po ba yung aking impormasyon?
Okay, so Kanlaon City is actually the parang a vegetable basket of Central Visayas. They produce most of the vegetable crops for the region. So, marami po talagang mga plantations ng mga gulay dyan sa uh, slopes po ng Kanlaon Volcano dito po sa southeastern sector ng Bulacan within the jurisdiction, especially of Kanlaon City. No? And many of these vegetable farms are actually within the 4-kilometer radius. That's why medyo matindi rin po mga issues ang kinakaharap po ng ating mga kababayan sa Kanlaon City because there are so many people who have been displaced, but also yung kanilang source of income ng tao at ng ating po mga kababayan at ng LG, which is in vegetable farming, is very much affected by the eruption, by the evaporation, but also by the volcanic gas and now the volcanic products that are also affecting their farms.
So sa ngayon po ang pinaka kailangan bantayan itong pinsala na dinala sa agrikultura. Pati na rin po yung mga individual na nananatiling evacuated from the 6-kilometer radius. Is that correct?
So what we are expecting right now is that we may have further events. No? But sa ngayon sa explosion po ang pinaka-impact po niyan ay ashfall. So we expect a lot of ashfall towards the west-southwest. This ash will fall over the jurisdictions of La Carlota City, La Castellana, and Bago City, possibly Murcia, and possibly Pontevedra, and the coastal towns of Negros Occidental. So mainly Negros Occidental po na mga jurisdictions ang maapektuhan ng so, medyo kailangan po talagang yung may mga naka-evacuate na po ng mga barangay dyan sa taas po ng La Carlota City and Bago City. Meron pa rin po silang mga barangay sa baba that may be affected heavily by ashfall. Ang ating pong observatory mismo sa La Carlota City has experienced ashfall. So, people should be wearing masks and other or wet cloth to guard themselves against the effects of ash fall, especially po yung ating mga vulnerable members ng population, yung may mga karamdaman po, respiratory diseases or cardiovascular diseases, the elderly, mga expecting mothers, children, especially infants na. So they are especially vulnerable to the negative impacts of ashfall po. Ito pong nangyari kaninang umaga ay maaari pong mauwi pa sa mga iba pa pong activity kaya kailangan po ay lagi po tayong nakaantabay sa mga advisories po ng box.
Okay, after 7 years of relative inactivity, the Kanlaon volcano erupted last year twice, June 3 and December 9. Ano po yung patterns na nakikita po natin dito sa bulkan? Meron po ba tayong napapansin doon sa kanyang pag-alboroto?
Okay, so ang Kanlaon volcano po, ang ating po talagang challenge ay wala po tayong instrumentally monitored or even well-described na magmatic eruption. Marami po itong mga minor phreatic or steam-driven eruptions in the past, pero hindi po yun talagang magmatic eruption. So, what we are seeing since nung nag-umpisa po yung mga minor activity noong 2015, which were just minor phreatic eruptions, nagkaroon po tayo ng major unrest noong 2017, nag-step up po tayo ng alert level 2. Pero after that, tumahimik po ang vulkan even in terms of volcanic earthquake activity. Tumahimik po yan between 2018 and 2019. And then noong 2020 lang po ulit talaga nag-umpisa ang seismic unrest na nauwi po sa mga pagputok nitong 2024. Now, what we have been seeing since 2024, since the first eruption on June 3 and then the second on December 9, may nakikita po tayong pattern kung saan noong June 3 po ay nagkaroon po tayo ng swarm, ibig sabihin po ay kabit-kabit po ng mga volcanic earthquakes. And then nagkaroon po tayo ng pamamaga sa upper slope ng vulkan, so nauwi po ito sa pagputok. ito pong December 9, ang nakita po nating pattern ay nagkaroon po tayo ng pamamaga ulit ng upwards inflation-deflation cycle. Namaga po at nung bumabalik na po sa bumababa na po yung pamamaga, doon po yung vulkan. At meron pong pagbaba ng sulfur dioxide emission. Similar to what we experienced this morning, no, medyo mababa po yung sulfur dioxide emission kahapon, nasa 1,600 plus tons per day na. Ang average po natin since June 3 ay nasa around 4,000 tons per day po, no? Since March po this year, medyo bumaba po yung average sulfur dioxide emission natin. Pero yun nga po, ang ating pong nakikita ay instead of this being an indication na bumababa ang activity ng vulkan, this just means na nabablock po yung mga natural passages ng gas out of the crater at ito po ay maaaring mauwi sa pressurization and pagputok po ng vulkan, katulad po na nangyari kanina.
Alright, patuloy po natin babantayan ang sitwasyon ng Kanlaon volcano sa Negros. In the meantime, maraming salamat po for explaining what's happening over there. To us, we have VVOX Volcano Monitoring Chief Mariton Bornas on Morning Matters today. Maraming salamat.
At po, ingat po tayo.
And now let's get the latest updates from Kanlaon City Mayor Jose Chubasco Cardenas. Good morning to you, Mayor.
Yes, good morning to you, ma'am, and good morning to all our viewers and listeners right now.
Okay. Mayor, kamusta naman po yung mga residente? Sabi po sa atin nung VVOX, mula pa nung Disyembre, ay nakapag-evacuate na po yung mga nandoon sa 6-kilometer radius. So ano po yung kondisyon at sitwasyon po dyan ngayon?
Yes, as of now, the residents of Kanlaon City do not feel any panic at all since the volcano is part of our daily lives already. We have a system wherein if there are minor eruptions like this, now automatically the people residing within beyond the 6 kilometers will just get ready in order for them to pack up if necessary. But the people residing within the 6 kilometers are now in the evacuation centers. So the residents in that area do not have to worry at all. But as of now, we are experiencing a bit of ashfall now on that area since at around 5:51 a.m. The plume of the eruption is quite high. So the ash falls also reaches far. So that's one thing that affects also our agricultural products within the 6 kilometers.
Yun nga po yung napag-usapan po namin, yung pinsala sa agrikultura. How is the city or the province adapting to this?
Yes, actually, based on our survey, the farmers of Kanlaon City is experiencing a big loss in terms of their products. It reaches around 1.4 billion in June eruption up to the present. So as of now, we are supposed to be on our recovery program, wherein we are preparing to give shelter assistance to our constituents. But with the current situation, the assistance, the shelters such as the GI sheet, will just be eaten by rashes. Because we all know that ash falls causes rashes on the GI roof. So, ang nangyari, pabalik-balik yung mga yung mga assistance natin. But for now, we strategize it to really paint it before giving it to the constituents residing within that area. But hopefully, if the volcanic unrest will stop, we are hoping and we are praying on that. It's because it's really a burden. It's really somehow a not so suitable or not favorable to the people inside the evacuation centers because they are spending more than double than they are used to. Could you imagine that they will be paying their fare going to their respective areas to till, because the 6 kilometers danger zone is also a agricultural center of Kanlaon City. It is the vegetable area. So the vegetables are planted within that area. So the cost of production of the farmers being doubled due to their distance every time they're going to till their respective areas.
So pabalik-balik po sila doon, ano? Pero yung evacuation center po nila, nasaan po yun? At inaabot din po ba ng ashfall ito sa ngayon? And have they been there for the past 4 months?
Yes, the evacuation center is beyond the 6 kilometers danger zone.
Right.
The evacuation center is within 9 to 10 kilometers danger zone. So asphalt didn't reach in these areas. But that is why it is really a burden on the part of the evacuees. Since they're tilling their lands, they have to pay on their transportation. But the government, the government provide the transportation for them to go on the respective areas. But some choose to ride their motorcycles to get in the respective farm so that they can till it. So that is why the cost of production is being doubled because they are spending for fuel every day because they are not allowed to stay within the 6 kilometers danger zone.
Okay, Mayor, it seems that there is a pattern being established or being seen by FIVOX na kabit na volcanic earthquakes dito at parang binablock daw yung passageway. Kaya imbis na makalabas yung sulfur dioxide, mas nagkakaroon ng mas malaking pagputok. Pangatlo na po ito, June 3, December 9 at ngayon pong araw. Ano po ang panawagan po ninyo sa mga residente na nandyan sa ngayon while we are looking at this volcano and tayo po ay nag-iingat? What is your call also for help from the people who are watching and wanting to give aid to Negros?
Okay, ma'am. My calling to the people of Kanlaon to just be vigilant with the current situation of the volcanic unrest, since we already conducted drilling when it comes to volcanic eruption. So I am calling to the people beyond the 6 kilometers danger zone to just prepare all the time. We do not know the behavior of the volcano, but it is better to be ready than feel sorry. So I'm just calling to the constituents of Kanlaon City beyond the 6 kilometers danger zone to also prepare. If necessary, please prepare your go bag, your important things. Just put it on your go bag so that we can avoid loss of lives. And to the people also looking, the people of Kanlaon who are planning to help us. As of now, we are having 850 families inside the evacuation centers. So that is the data. So anything that you can help people of Kanlaon under my administration is very much willing to accept donation as well. But what we need right now is really prayers that the volcanic unrest will stop so that my people, our people, can go home or can go back in the respective house.
Correct. Okay. 850 families in evacuation centers that are in need ng probably pantawid po, pati na rin yung face mask para dito sa ashfall na nilalabanan. But in the meantime, maraming salamat po para sa inyong oras. Thank you so much, and we do pray that things will get better over there. We have Kanlaon City Mayor Jose Chobasco Cardenas joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am.
Over to the West Philippine Sea, a Chinese Coast Guard vessel repeatedly attempted to ram Philippine Coast Guard's BRP Cabra on Monday. Despite China's aggressive actions, the superior maneuverability of the PCG allowed the BRP Cabra to avoid collisions. The CCG even deployed a smaller and faster vessel to increase the pressure, but the professionalism and composure of PCG sailors kept the situation under control. The PCG said it remains committed to President Bongbong Marcos's directive, safeguarding the nation's maritime interests while maintaining a high standard of professionalism. Malacanang said there is no concrete evidence yet that the arrest of 3 Filipinos in China on allegations of espionage is an act of retaliation. This follows concerns from the National Security Council that it could be in response to the apprehension of suspected spies in the Philippines. Palace Press Officer Attorney Claire Castro assured that the government will provide legal assistance to the arrested Filipinos.
There is no yet concrete evidence if it is really a retaliation or a part of retaliation of the other country. We will not say that because there's no final investigation on that matter.
Meanwhile, Palawan Provincial Board member Ryan Dagsa Maminta clarified that the 3 Filipinos are not spies, but former recipients of the Hainan government scholarship. He also noted that the province has sent over 50 scholars to Hainan.
Mga graduates na po ng degree courses yan, Sir Ed. Sila David Cervantes, Natalie Pizardo at saka si Albert Indencia. Ang unang batch po ng graduates ay kabilang si David Cervantes at si Natalie Pizardo. So, second batch naman ay si Albert Indencia. So bumalik po sila doon. Apparently, meron silang job opportunities na nakuha sa university at saka sa outside the university sa Hainan province.
Meanwhile, the Philippines and the United States have launched this year's Cope Thunder military exercise. Brian Castillo with a report.
Several F-A-50 fighter jets from the Philippine Air Force and F-16 fighter jets from the United States Pacific Air Force flew together during a flyby at Clark Air Base in Pampanga. The F-16s are in the country for Cope Thunder, which is the bilateral military exercise between the Philippines and the U.S. that aims to strengthen cooperation and to enhance air defense capabilities and combat readiness.
Security is not the concern of one, but the responsibility of many. This year's exercise focusing on enhancing combat readiness and elevating joint mission effectiveness with clear objectives. And that is to train hard, think forward, and operate as one.
We live in a time of great consequence. And as you generate air power and hone and refine your tactics, techniques, and procedures, the world is closely watching. It demonstrates our shared commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific where all nations can prosper, thrive, and be free from coercion.
This also marks the first time the Philippine F-A-50s will return to the air after being grounded for nearly 3 weeks, following the crash of one aircraft in Bukidnon last March that claimed the life of 2 pilots.
We have lifted the grounding of our aircraft. Yes, our F-A-50 fleets have been inspected very well. It went through a very thorough inspection, and we have proven them airworthy.
The training will focus on air combat and various joint air scenarios.
We're going to be integrating with the FA-50s here, doing a variety of mission sets, mostly focused on air-to-air basic training, including dogfighting as well as tactical intercept, making sure that we are both familiar with how each other operates.
The FA-50s will train alongside U.S. F-16s, which recently made headlines after the U.S. approved their sale to the Philippines. Compared to the FA-50s, the F-16s are larger, faster, and equipped to carry more weapons. The Philippine Air Force has been pushing for the acquisition of modern multi-role fighter jets, with F-16 being among the options. According to Filipino pilots, the Cope Thunder is a good opportunity to familiarize themselves with the aircraft.
We are not comparing aircraft versus aircraft here. So we will validate our tactics, again, our tactics, techniques, and procedures on how we operate. This is in preparation for us in the future in acquiring multi-role fighter aircraft, much capable multi-role fighter.
For Filipino-American fighter pilots of the U.S. Air Force, This joint exercise serves as a homecoming.
Napakasarap ng pakiramdam na maisuot ang uniform namin dito sa bansang kinalakihan namin. Malaking tulong yung nakakapagsalita kami ng Tagalog dahil mas komportabling kausap ng mga Pilipino yung mga tao na galing din dito sa bansa natin.
This year's Cope Thunder welcomes international observers for the first time, with representatives from the Air Forces of Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Japan, and Australia. The first phase of Cope Thunder will run until April 18 and will be conducted across various air bases in Luzon. For News 5, Brian Castillo. We are One News.
Don't go away. Morning Matters will be back with more stories right after the break. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. Several cabinet officials will attend the Senate hearing regarding the arrest of former President Duterte on Thursday. According to Palace Press Officer Claire Castro, Malacanang granted the request of Senate President Chis Escudero. The Office of the Executive Secretary gave a list of 11 officials that will be present in the Senate hearing. These include Justice Chief Boying Remulla, PNP CIDG Chief Major General Nicolas Torre, and PNP Chief General Romel Marbil. Recall that they skipped the hearing last week after the palace invoked executive privilege.
Kung nagkausap man po sila ni Senate President Chis Escudero, binigyan din po natin ng pagrespeto ang kanyang hiling. Kaya provided of course, ito hindi naman din tatalakay sa executive privilege na mga issues.
It's been almost a month since former President Duterte was arrested and detained at the ICC in The Hague, Netherlands, for crimes against humanity over his administration's war on drugs. And for the latest, we have Mon Walves, who joins us live from The Hague. Mon, what is the latest news from there? Meron na bang updates on the legal team of the former president?
Yes, Gretchen, we have talked to Attorney Nicholas Kaufman, the lead legal counsel of the former President Rodrigo Duterte, and he says, and he confirms, that their core legal defense team is now complete. It comprises of lawyers who have experience or years of experience in handling international criminal court, and years of experience in handling information technology that is required to run a defense case to that court, because he's mentioning that they are going to work with electronic evidence. So kailangan daw talaga ng expert or at least may experience daw sa IT, because they need to have understanding of how to use this information system. Lahat daw itong 5 lawyers na ito, bagamat di niya na binigay yung mga detalye at pangalan, of course isa siya doon, pero wala raw ditong Filipino. All of these are foreigners or foreign lawyers, pero meron daw at least 2 Filipino lawyers who are helping them but not part of the core team. Gretchen.
Mon, walang binigay na pangalan kung sino itong mga lawyers na ito at iilan yung parte ng team?
Oo, walang binigay na pangalan si Attorney Nicholas Kaufman, basta sinabi lamang niya 5 ang bumubuo sa core defense team ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Bagamat we are asking kung meron bang Filipino lawyers no na kasama rin dito, ang sabi lamang niya, meron daw at least 2 Filipino lawyers who are helping outside the core team. They are mostly being supportive in different matters kasi malaking bagay din daw yung nakakakilala mismo sa kliyente who happens to be the former president. Pero very timely that we saw here in The Hague, Attorney Martin Delgra, who happens to be a lawyer as well of former President Duterte in the Philippines. No, when we asked him if he is part of the 2 Filipino lawyers na tumutulong nga kina Attorney Kaufman, hindi siya nag-confirm tungkol dito, pero ang sinasabi niya, malaking bagay daw talaga na may nakakakilalang lawyer sa dating Pangulo. At nandito daw siya para magbigay lamang ng suporta sa dating Pangulo.
Okay, can you give us more information about the information technology and electronic evidence? Ano ibig sabihin nun? Paano ba yung proseso dyan?
Oo, kasi dito daw sa mangyayari sa International Criminal Court proceedings, yung mga evidences mostly are in electronic in nature. Kaya kailangan daw talaga mas may alam sila makaintindi at makaunawan itong information system na binabanggit. No? So, yun yung isa sa mga criteria na tinignan nila para mabuo nga daw yung core defense team. And ito daw yung mga kailangan mas maunawaan nila sa pag-handle nitong mga databases na ito sa mangyayari ng mga court proceedings if ever na matutuloy after the confirmation of charges. Right now kasi, patuloy lamang sila sa mga pag-create muna na paghahanda rather para sa kanilang mga isasagot sa kanilang observation dito sa ipapasa nga na document containing charges ng prosecution before the confirmation of charges this coming September.
Actually, the next deadline is April 11 para sagutin nitong defense yung binato na 181 pieces of evidence ng prosecution. So did he give any information on that?
Oo, sabi lang niya, pinaghahandaan na nila to and alam naman natin very matipid itong si Attorney Nicholas Kaufman. When we ask questions to him, matipid ang kanyang sagot and he doesn't want to go into details in terms of their strategy. Yan yung binabanggit niya palagi sa atin. So yes, they're preparing on it. Nakahanda rin nila itong isubmit bago pa yung April 11 deadline dito nga sa pre-trial chamber.
Doon sa 2 Filipino lawyers, confirm ko lang, si Attorney Harry Roque maaaring kasama doon sa 2.
There is a possibility that Attorney Harry Roque, Attorney Delgra, and even former Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea might be there. Although wala nga kinonfirm si Attorney Kaufman on whose names are this, no? Kung sino itong at least 2 lawyers na binabanggit. Pero these 3 lawyers, ang nakikita natin dito ngayon sa The Hague na present at the moment na nagpapakita ng suporta kay dating Pangulong Duterte habang siya ay nakadetain dito sa ICC Detention Center, Gretchen.
Okay, would you know if they will be applying for legal aid from the ICC? Alam natin kasi parang may sinasabi si Attorney Harry Roque nung nandyan kami na parang doon sa listahan ng ICC na iso-shoulder, na maaari nila ma-shoulder, parang nasa 5 yung team eh. Meron ba sila sinabi in that light?
Natanong natin din yan actually kay Vice President Sara Duterte herself at sinabi niya na they are not thinking about this one pa muna at hinahayaan muna niya kay Attorney Nicholas Kaufman itong bagay na ito sa legal aspect. At kung naman si Nicholas Kaufman, si Attorney Kaufman about this, he refused pa to answer this matter. No? So nakafocus lang daw sila ngayon sa paghahanda nga sa i-respond nila dyan sa ipapasa ng prosecution. Kung sakali, dahil nga kompleto na rin yung legal team, this is the perfect time na makapag-file na rin daw sila ng mga motions or petitions before the court para nga sa kanilang kliyente na si dating Pangulong Duterte. It might be part of it ng interim release. Pero hindi pa rin niya tinonfirm if this is one at kung kailan na nila ito ipa-file. Lalo't karapatan din naman daw ng isang accused or ng suspect ang mga ganitong klaseng motion or petition. Gretchen.
Naalala ko kasi sabi ni Attorney Roque noon na yung maaring ma-shoulder ay 3 lawyer lamang, tapos parang yung iba hindi sila parang support staff sila. Pero dahil 5 international lawyer, that seems quite heavy on the pocket, knowing also the hefty fees that these international lawyers charge. But it seems that the team is going for the best defense possible for the former president. Mon, any updates on the family there? Kung may mabumisita kahapon at sino yung mga mananatili pa dyan?
Alam mo, sa observation natin in the past 2 weeks, Gretchen staying here in The Hague, mostly kapag weekend up to Monday, halos walang bumibisita ng mga kamag-anak ni dating Pangulong Duterte sa kanya dito sa ICC Detention Center. So it's the same situation yesterday and this weekend. So we are expecting another visitors or a set of visitors this Tuesday na madalas nangyayari, Tuesday to Friday, yung halos araw-araw bumibisita yung mga kaanak ni dating Pangulong Duterte. So again, nandito pa rin naman si Kanlaon Avanceño, the common law wife of the former president, plus her daughter, na si Veronica Kiko Duterte. At in-expect na rin na dumating daw this week, bagamat there's no confirmation yet, si Davao City First District Representative Paolo Duterte na kapalit ni VP Sara sa kanyang pagbalik na daw dyan sa Pilipinas.
All right. Thank you so much for your updates. We have a legal team complete. We have yet to know the names of those who will be in defense of the former president, but that is what we will stay tuned to with your reporting over there from The Hague in Netherlands. Maraming salamat. That was Mon Gualvez from News 5. Another local candidate was given a show-cause order over a controversial remark during the campaign. Camille Samonte with the details.
Women's group Gabriela is asking the Supreme Court to punish Christian Ayan Sia. In a campaign sortie last week, the Pasig City congressional candidate said that single mothers can sleep with him once a year. Sia has since apologized for what he called was a joke, but at the same time blamed the uploader and his political rivals for the viral video. For Gabriela, such an apology was as lame as they come. It wants Sia disbarred or at the very least met a disciplinary action for violating the Code of Professional Responsibility and Accountability.
Kailangan meron talagang concrete na grounds ng disqualification para sa mga bastos at mga manyak. Dapat yung kanyang mga pahayag ay hindi dapat ganon. Lalo na siya ay under oath bilang abogado. Paano pa kapag nahalal si Attorney Christian Sia na congressman? Ano na lang kinabukasan ng mga kababaihan kapag siya ay nasa kapangyarihan na?
Sia has until Monday, April 7 to explain to the Commission on Elections why he should not be disqualified or charged for his remarks.
Wala po nakalagay sa guidelines natin na apology or I am sorry bilang pagpapababa ng kaso o pagpapababa ng bigat, and therefore maaari hindi po ito tumanggap ng mga I am sorry.
At the moment, Sia is already facing one disqualification case. COMELEC will see if complaints against him will be consolidated for a decision that will be rendered before the May 12 elections. COMELEC has also issued a show-cause order to Misamis Oriental Governor Peter Onabia. In a speech, the re-election is quipped that only beautiful women should get scholarships for medical degrees like nursing.
Para ni sa mga babae, dili pwede ang lalaki.
Then there's Onabia's supposed racial slur when he singled out Maranaos for violence during the last elections. COMELEC is giving the governor 3 days to explain why he should not be charged with violation of election guidelines that can lead to disqualification.
Maaaring ito ay may paglabag sa ating pong anti-discrimination resolution. Tatandaan po natin, yung ating anti-discrimination resolution ay hindi lamang naman para sa kababaihan kundi sa relihiyon. At yan po ay covered po nung resolution na yan.
The third recipient of COMELEC's show-cause order is Batangas gubernatorial candidate Mataas na Kahoy Vice Mayor J. Ilagan. Target this time, rival and former Governor and Representative Vilma Santos.
Ang aking kalabay isang Vilma Santos laang nalaos na. Hindi ako takot.
COMELEC invokes that anti-discrimination and fair campaign guidelines in Ilagan's case. Amid all these possible violations, the poll body again reminds midterm bets to be cautious with their words as a show of respect to voters and the elected positions they are aiming for. For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
Stay tuned for more. Morning Matters will be back right after this short break. My name is Gretchen Ho, and this is Morning Matters. Today's guest is a politician, but also a women and children rights advocate. Live here in the studio, we have a Gabriela representative and now senatoriable Arlene Brosas. Congresswoman, welcome to the program.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat dito sa Morning Matters.
As one of the principal authors of the Bawal Bastos Act or the Safe Spaces Act, it is timely that you are joining us here now in the studio with the I guess, a slew of sexist comments and remarks that we are seeing during the campaign period. Ano po ang inyong masasabi at paano nga ba tayo humantong sa ganito? Na matagal na ba yan? Ngayon lang ba na-expose dahil meron ng video at nagba-viral sila?
Yes, basically matagal na yan. Ano? Parang
yung ganitong klaseng mga remarks na ginagamit pang aliw ng crowd.
Yeah, matagal na. Kasi actually, hindi pa nga ako kongresista, naalala ko, 2015, we have been calling out yung mga kandidato, no, na there was a lap dance. Remember, issue pa ng Timmy Chipeco, Calamba, Laguna, and madaming mga issues pa even before. Tapos dati hindi lang kasi masyadong nakikita kasi nga hindi nga naka-video, hindi natin nalalaman. But here now, yung technology medyo umakyat na, no? So ngayon napapalabas na at marami na talagang kumakalat. Nagba-viral pa nga in fact. So ngayon lumala. Mas lumala. I believe so kasi kung na-call out yon before, hindi talaga yun lalala. But apparently, hanggang ngayon, parang normalizing the culture of giving out sexist and lewd remarks, particularly on marginalized and members of society and women in particular, and LGBTQ+ community. So, yung ganun yung nangyari. So, ngayon, parang platform na ito ngayon ng mga kandidato at excuse nila yung sabihin na...
Actually, it is bothersome that these remarks come from people sitting in authority, in places of power. Nakakabagabag siya, no? Pero isa-isahin po natin, ano, kasi para lang din malaman ng mga kababaihan. How to define what is the borderline between yung katanggap-tanggap na parang joke lang at yung mga comment na ay kailangan mo nang i-call out, no? So unahin natin yung kay Attorney Ayan yung sinabi niya sa solo parents. You talked about the marginalized the solo parents as they are. He already apologized for this.
Yes.
But isn't an apology enough? I mean,
no, it is not enough, no. Sa case ni Ian Sia, I remember I was also interviewed about this, ano. Si Ian Sia kasi, yung sinabi niya sa solo parents, first, hindi yun talaga katanggap-tanggap kahit pa sa crowd na yon. Kasi bakit? Una, nagka-campaign siya and for public consumption ang kanyang ginagawa. So, hindi lang yon doon sa crowd directed. Since ikaw ay humihingi ng boto sa mamamayan, therefore, kandidato ka for
pero siya, inaalay niya na
election.
makipagsiping sa kanya yung itong mga solo parents
which is
na
precisely,
nireregla pa.
Which is precisely mali. Oo, mali talaga, 'di ba? Kasi una, yung election offense mo, nag-discriminate ka na, 'di ba? Sa mga kababaihan. Parang sinabi mo na sex-starved tong mga to. So ganito yung ano, 'di ba? That's the message precisely. And second, sinabi mo, kasi sex-starved kayo, meron akong i-offer sa inyo. So that's very, very wrong. Ano? In the sense,
pinag-uusapan natin.
That's very, very wrong. Tapos, actually, tatlo naman ang ginawa namin dyan na measures. For example, ang Gabriela Alliance of Women, actually, sila ay sumulat naman sa Supreme Court. That was the action. Kasi nga, meron naman talagang decorum, di ba? And propriety itong mga lawyers.
Election candidates.
No, for lawyers particular, for the Supreme Court,
okay.
'di ba? Dapat merong ganon kasi meron silang canon 2, I think. And that's supposed to para makita kung paano ang actuations ng mga lawyers sa ibaba, no? And second, may disciplinary action sila doon. Dapat. So ang Gabriela Alliance, Filipino Alliance of Women ay sumulat na. Ang Gabriela Women's Party, sumulat kami sa COMELEC. And we actually, sinabi namin doon sa COMELEC na kailangan talagang magkaroon ng action dito. But then, ang problema, wala kasing particular na prohibition talaga doon sa lewd remarks and misogynistic remarks.
Sa
particular.
Bawal Bastos Act.
Sa Bawal Bastos Act meron. Pero doon sa COMELEC guidelines ay wala. Sa Omnibus Election Code.
Anong nakalagay lamang doon sa Omnibus Election Code?
Well, ang sinasabi lang doon, ito yung mga prohibited acts. Pero wala dong particular na nagsasabi na
Kung
lewd. Yung lewd and sexist remarks.
So it is still subject to interpretation?
Not subject to interpretation. Parang ganon. Kung sasabihin mo na hindi naman lewd remark, it was a joke, 'di ba? Parang ganon. They can get away with it. Ganon yung mangyayari. So sa Omnibus Election Code natin, kailangan baguhin natin 'yon. Kailangan magkaroon ng provision doon na nagsasabi particular na yung lewd and sexist remarks on women and LGBTQ community ay dapat magkaroon ng sanction ng disqualification also. So we need to change, or this is a form of legislation for later na consumption ng mga tao, kasi pa-end na yung siguro i-refile na lang namin ito sa Gabriela Women's Party come 20th Congress, 'di ba?
Para 30 days na lamang kayo po ay nagbabalak na mag-file ng disqualification case. Tama po ba?
Hindi.
Ano po binabalak po ninyo?
Nagkaroon tayo ng dalawang letter. One is for yung Gabriela Filipino Alliance nga of Women ay sa Supreme Court na letter. And yung second ay yung sa COMELEC. They should look into it. Natutuwa kami sa action ng COMELEC ngayon kasi mabilis siya maglabas ng show cause order agad, no? Tapos yung any possible legal actions, siguro sa mga susunod na panahon pa yon. Yung ngayon na inaasikaso namin, we will file parang amendment to the Omnibus Election Code, which specifically, yung gusto natin na provision na yung lewd sexist remark
could have a sanction of disqualification.
Of disqualification. Ganun siya.
How about yung final po ninyo sa Supreme Court? Posible po ba ang disbarment? I mean, pero
one
that
of the
motion, that motion or a request, can it be coming from you, from Gabriela? Does it need to emanate from the IBP, for example?
From the, of course, if it's from the IBP, no, sila naman ang may niyan kasi sila ang
mag-investigate.
So they have to investigate, they have to make sanctions, parang ganyan.
Okay,
ang sinasabi lang natin, we implore the Supreme Court, parang ganyan. So, basically, ito naman kasi, different naman kasi yung Gabriela Filipino Alliance of Women. So, sila talaga, effort talaga nila ito. Kasi individual and organizations itong mga ito, ng women organizations itong mga ito. Kami naman, on the part of the, dahil nasa legislative mill kami, yun talaga yung tutunguhan namin, COMELEC and, of course, House of Representatives. Ganun yung itsura.
But what does the Safe Spaces Act say about that comment, particularly made by Attorney Ayan?
Well, basically, ang sinasabi naman sa atin sa Safe Spaces Act, dapat hindi talaga i-discriminate ang mga kababaihan. At itong mga ito ay subject for sanction. Pero kasi sa Safe Spaces Act, kasi ano lang yan mag-ano ka lang ng parang magkano? 5,000, parang ganyan.
Maliit lamang.
Oo, ganun
parang
lang
may
yung
fine lang na 5,000. Parang tinikitan lang.
Yes, oo.
Parang traffic violation.
Yan, ganun siya. Kaya,
what is the heaviest sanction under the Safe Spaces Act?
Well, pwede rin naman kulong, pero they have to investigate more, parang ganyan. And sa atin kasi, hindi masyadong pinapansin, and we need more information dissemination sa ating mga kababayan. For example, I think yung National Federation ng Solo Parents, sila ngayon ay nag-file din sa COMELEC. Pero hindi sila magpa-file ng ikukorte mo pa kasi yun sa Safe Spaces Law. So you need to go to court. Ngayon, walang ganong kaso sa kanya, di ba?
Wala po.
Oo, wala.
Kasi
Sa
sino
bawal
ang magpa-file?
Of course,
Kahit sino, anybody who is affected by what he said.
Yes, ganun siya. Oo.
Okay.
But then, tingnan mo, walang nagpa-file ngayon. So ngayon naman, inaaral pa natin kung paano yung mga possible legal actions on this. No?
Okay, pagdating naman po doon sa remark ni Batangas Governor Candidate J. Ilagan calling former governor and former Congresswoman Vilma Santos Laos. Ay, pag ganung kasama ba yun? Is that catcalling? I mean, or insulto lang yun?
Oo,
I mean,
parang insult.
which is prevalent
it's
in
different.
politics. So you wouldn't classify it as a sexist remark? Because parang hinalintulad siya sa mga ibang artista ngayon. Tingnan natin ng actual remark niya.
Sinasabi.
Oo. Pero how do we define what is bastos and where we already need to take action or file charges? Meron bang mga qualifications yun? Para sa mga kababaihan na hindi alam kung ano yung kung kailan nila sasabihin na tama na, mali na ito.
Oo. Actually, in-include namin yun doon sa provision ng ipa-file namin sa House of Representatives later on. Kasi ang gusto sana namin yung Section 2, Section 261 of the Omnibus Election Code, yun yung i-amend. So, ano ang nakalagay doon? Para mas malinaw sa mga kababayan natin, i-quote ko para alam natin, is hereby amended, Section 2, Section 261 of the Omnibus Election Code is hereby amended by inserting paragraph G after paragraph F and renumbering the succeeding paragraphs accordingly. Kasi yung Section 261, prohibited acts ang nakalagay doon. The following shall be guilty of an election offense. 1, 2, 3 hanggang F. Pag F, coercion of election officials and employees, any person who directly or indirectly threatens, intimidates, terrorizes, or coerces any election official or employee in the performance of his election functions or duties. So, makikita mo na, directly or indirectly nag-threaten ba, nag-intimidate ba, nag-terrorize ba, yan yung nakalagay sa letter F. Gusto naming dagdagan. Ano yung gusto naming idagdag? Yung letter G, public degradation, ridicule, and harassment of women and members of the LGBTQIA+ community, any person who make a remark or commit a behavior that directly or indirectly degrades, ridicules, harasses, or diminishes the dignity of women and members of the LGBTQIA+ community during campaign-related public engagements. Katulad ginawa ni Sia, di ba? Sa such as assemblies, sorties, interviews, public releases, dissemination of print and online materials, among other related forms within the campaign period, para magkaroon ng parang sanction ang COMELEC kasi kulang bitin ka doon sa sinasabi na
nandun siya sa threat at intimidation.
No, what is that? Ano yun? Diba?
I have the full statement actually of gubernatorial candidate J. Ilagan. Ang aking kalaban ay isang Vilma Santos lang na laos na. Hindi ako takot. Kung si Catherine Bernardo at si Andrea Brillantes ay takot ako. Pero Vilma Santos, marami naman sa mga fans niya ay namamahinga na rin.
Grabe, di ba?
Ano yun? Insult yun? Or is it a sexist remark?
Well, it's an insult, Pero yung sa sexist remark, hindi pa siguro ganun yung category
okay.
Public degradation dahil kalaban niya sa politika. Oo,
okay.
but then, doon
Alright.
sa, as women as a whole, ganun. Hindi katulad ng narinig mo naman yung kay Attorney Sia, no? And he said, non-apology nga yung sinabi niya. Sinabi niya, joke kasi yun. Sila naiintindihan nila yung mga tumawa nga sila. Yun ang sinabi niya. Pero hindi niya tinake into consideration that he is campaigning. And all of this is for public consumption. At humihiling ka ng boto. At ang sinasabi mo ay gawin nila ito. 'Di ba? Parang that's weird.
Well, I don't think he got a pass anyway because now he has gone viral online. But we'll wait for that. Let's go to your candidacy. You are running this time for senator. What will be your priority legislation if elected to the Senate? We do know that you have been pushing for the anti-endo bill. Ano na po nangyari doon? Pati yung SOGI bill, medyo naglalanguish din po yan. Wala tayong naririnig tungkol dyan. Ano po ang, kung kayo ay palaring manalo, ano po ang priority po natin?
Yes, well, basically, ito na nga yun, isa sa mga priority talaga natin, itong bawal bastos talaga, no? Kasi lalabanan talaga natin yung lahat ng mga ganitong actuations doon sa Senado. Kaya maganda po na magkaroon tayo ng representante, no? Na talagang lalaban for women and children's advocate doon sa Senado sa atin. Kulang at kailangan natin ng mga ganito. As to the endo bill, yung endo bill po ngayon, pinupush natin hindi lang yung yung endo bill, no. Endo bill, yun yung niya ibig sabihin, magkaroon ng regular na trabaho yung mga manggagawa at itaas ang kanilang sahod.
Vinito po yun ni dating Pangulong Duterte, tama po ba? Nasaan po siya ngayon? Under the Marcos administration?
Well, it is filed in Congress, pero hindi pa rin siya nagkakaroon ng pagdinig. So, wala tayong makuha. Unlike yung sa dagdag sahod, may 200 ka na ngayon. But then sabi nga ni Marcos, hindi niya rin ito priority. So therefore, we are not expecting na maipasa ito by the end of the session. Sayang naman, alam mo 'yon, kasi kailangan ng mga manggagawa ngayon ng
Saan po nabitin yun? I mean, what are the matagal na po yan,
right now, it is in the Committee on Labor and Employment.
Sa SOGI bill naman po?
Sa SOGI, ang SOGI SC, yung Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity and Expression, hanggang ngayon, nasa period of debates pa rin siya. Hindi pa siya tumataas doon sa third reading or the voting para maipasa na ito at maipasok na natin sa Senado. Kapag siguro, ito yung mga priority natin at saka yung pagpapababa ng presyo ng mga bilihin. You would like to get the VAT out yung value-added tax kasi automatic na bababa yung presyo ng mga bilihin pagka ganun At gusto yun ng ating mga mamamayan. Even yung excise tax sa langis, gusto natin mawala yun. Yung lalabanan natin yung rice tarification law dahil hanggang ngayon, hirap na hirap ang mga magsasaka natin at marami pa tayong mga batas na gustong ipasa. We would also like to amend the Anti-Violence Against Women and Children Act kasi to include na yung electronic, 'di ba? Kasi hindi pa included 'yun medyo matagal na yung batas natin na Tapos yung may mga win naman tayo nung nakaraan kaya meron tayong tuntungan para nang sa ganon i-follow up natin itong mga ito sa Senate. Halimbawa, ang win natin yung expanded maternity leave law, yung occupational safety and health law, 'di ba? Na para sa mga manggagawa, yan yung mga nagawa natin. And the anti-rape law amendments. We were able to push na ang edad from 12 years old to 16 years old yung statutory rape, 'di ba? Yung sexual consent. Yun yung nagawa natin. But we have more to do kasi halimbawa, pwedeng ipakasal yung rapist doon sa ni-rape niya, doon sa current anti-rape law. So, kailangan natin yung baguhin.
Marami pa po tayong gustong gawin, Pero sa ngayon, ang pinaka-hurdle at pinaka-challenge before us is the campaign period. Good luck to you on that. Of course, we have a Gabriela representative, 3-termer representative and senatorial candidate now. Arlene Brosses, thank you so much for shedding light on all of these laws protecting women in the Philippine Constitution. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, the third Alright, maraming salamat po. Looks like we have ran out of time for today. It is a busy Tuesday. That's it for today's episode of Morning Matters. My name is Gretchen Ho. Catch you again tomorrow. We are One News, all sides, all the time.